What up? What up? Welcome back to the Sneaker History Podcast. My name's Nick Engvall with my guys Mike and Rohit to talk some kicks today. What's good, fellas? How you guys doing?
Thawing out, defrosting, I don't know, something. I mean, I'm in Texas and I feel like I lived in Wisconsin this weekend, or this week, so I don't know.
Now it's no longer that sunny day; it's that snowy day here in Portland, Oregon. So I think I'm doing a little bit better than our fallen compatriot who hang in
Yeah,
there,
man.
Robbie, free Robbie. For the, yep,
Dude, how do we have the same weather, by the way? When does Portland and Texas ever have the same weather? In South Texas, mind you.
it sounds like a really bad punchline for a joke, but you know what? I always like sharing things in common with you, Mike. You're one of my favorite people in this world, especially
Same to
the
you,
sneaker
sir.
game. So
Same to
I'll
you.
take that. And you're not too shabby either.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, I love you guys both, but I'm totally okay with not sharing the snow with you right now too. So,
Oh my god, lucky guy.
so I guess let's just before we get into, we're gonna talk some Jordans today. There's a lot of cool new releases coming. Kind of give some insight into those, give our opinions on some of the upcoming ones. But first and foremost, what are you guys rocking? What are you guys copping this week?
Man, I had to go to a store a couple times, and I was like, you know what? I don't have any snow material shoes, whatever, because I live in Texas. But '90s basketball shoes will get you through the snow. And one of the ones I was rocking was my military blues because they've seen a lot. They've holed up. They're troopers. So that's what I had on my feet today. Um, Something I saw I want to cop that I won't because I just won't have a chance to is the Armand Monnier Jordan 3. My God, that looks so good, but I know I'm not gonna be able to get it, so it is what it is.
I think positive,
I'm
Mike. I think you have.
positive
If
I
you
won't
just
be
put,
able to get
there we go.
it. What you got, Ro?
There's that 90s staple. I'm positive. For me, I was rocking my Zoom Revis 1 Breads
Ooh.
because that is the ideal shoe for snow shoveling because we've been getting a lot of snow here in Portland. And what I'm hoping to cop, because I hope it's an actual reality, is the LeBron Dodgers colorway that is the hot rumor for the next
Yeah.
entry in LeBron Watch 2021. I know that there was some kind of scuttlebutt on the Discord that, hey, I don't know how comfortable I feel as a potential buyer because this has that Dodger affiliation. But at the same time, I look at it from the perspective of don't think of it as that if you have an issue with that baseball team, but rather think of it as an alternate USA colorway. So that's
That
how
was
I'm
my first thought.
justifying my hopeful. Yeah, exactly. So there we go. How about you, Nick?
Well, first I gotta just say, I've been dealing with some things, so I haven't been on the Discord for about a week, and it just makes my heart smile that I have people holding back from Dodger colorways simply because they're attached to the Dodgers. As a Giants fan, clearly, you can see I'm wearing a Giants Thrasher hoodie. Like this is just like it just makes me so happy. So shout out to the Discord um, for representing my opinions even when I'm not available to hop in there.
Nice.
But as far as what I was rocking, man, I think I don't know if it's been the last two or three shows, but I'm still on the black cement threes. I pull them out. They've been sitting by the front door. There's not really a reason to wear it. I literally looked down this morning and I was like, why do I wear other shoes? Like this is just so good, you know. Like, but
Hey,
and
I
then
ain't mad at you.
Coppin. Shout out to Robbie
Oh
for
Lord.
talking to the good folks at Reebok, sending me the hot
Yes.
ones, questions. So if you don't know, I actually worked at Complex when First We Feast. About 2 months after First We Feast started, I became pretty close friends with the Schoenberger brothers, and it's awesome to see Chris and Sean and all the people associated with First We Feast and Hot Ones really just like the brand is just like booming, right? It's
Yeah,
really
man.
impressive because if you look at some of the other brands that Complex had over the years, and you could say this about any media company, right? Like all of them have the ups and downs, but like to really hit a home run and be 9 years deep or whatever it is now, close to 10 years, I guess it's coming soon. Um, and to be able to like actually create like a collaboration, I think and do it in a way that like actually gets people excited because the colorway is actually really dope. And I wasn't necessarily a fan of all the Hot Ones collabs of the first round. obviously the question one is my favorite silhouette anyway, but I think the colors are just super dope. Like they could have done that color combo
Yeah.
on any of the shoes and I would have been into it because it's like this just screamingly bright, you know,
Perfect.
reddish orange. Yeah, it's just like it's perfect. And I think like all the details too, they did such a good job with the tongue, the Scoville like 1996 cut tie in, all the fire on the eyelets. Like there's just so many things about the shoe. You know, it's just and like for me, it's just I love seeing my friends succeed. You know, I mean, like you guys get these opportunities and do this stuff, and like, I mean, that's what I want. That's what I do all this stuff for is to see people that I care about get these cool opportunities and to see somebody get that collaboration, knowing also that those guys were Iverson fans from back in the day. I think that's just
Yeah.
super dope. I would love to see Allen on Hot Ones though. That would be Iverson on Hot Ones would be a potentially a hot mess, but it would be a hot mess I would tune in
Oh,
for.
it'd
I'll
be
just say that.
perfect. And I think we need a group hot ones. I mean, come on, guys. We can do a virtual one. Sean, send us the hot sauces. Let's get down. We can do it.
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to bring shame to all my ancestors because I'm probably the only Indian person that can't do spicy food. Like, no joke, growing up as a kid, my mom would have to make a separate batch that was bland as hell because your boy can't do any sort of spice. So I will gladly be the cheerleader. I will hype you guys on as Sean asks you those really obscure questions about your past, and I will act surprised and shocked. But you guys do you. And I will say this, like to the point that you made, Nick, about complex. I was having this discussion with a buddy of mine recently because we were lamenting the fact, and this makes me sound incredibly ancient, and I'm okay with that, how MTV's become the ridiculousness channel. And there was that article that had just come out that it's 18 hours of this one show. And the only reason that's the case is for whatever reason, there was some study done somewhere down the line where they said, this is Middle America's favorite show. Now, what I grew up on an MTV diet was mostly pop culture, but it was very pop culture. And I think Complex has kind of taken on that mantle because, to your point, you have the hot ones, you had sneaker shopping, which we've kind of compared to cribs, and now even the likes of Desus and Mero, where they started on Complex before they got to the multimedia moguls that they are now because that brand is so strong. So I always have respect for that component of Complex. And now the fact that you've kind of been a part of that era lets me know that it's the right decision to make.
Well, the other interesting thing about that, and the point that you make about the MTV tie-ins, right, and the ridiculousness conversation, I actually think that there's a lot of, I'm not pointing fingers, but there's a lot of. It's not even just big brands; it's everyone, right? Like everyone, ridiculousness is simply a memeified TV show, right? Mm-hmm. Like it is the internet on TV for MTV for people that, it's Jackass fast forwarded 20 years, right? Is basically what it is. And
There we go.
and right now you see it in all aspects, right? You see it in sports, you see it in and like don't get me wrong, like I love some of this stuff, but like it's really tough to do it in a way that's sustainable, right? You see it with a lot of the sneaker Instagram accounts. Even Complex sometimes is like over the top with some of the video stuff that they're doing, right? Or the reposted videos, the reposted TikTok type stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a slippery slope. And I think that is kind of a really interesting, like, not for this podcast conversation about where things are headed for society when the biggest players and the most successful small players all have the same formula. And now what happens, right? Because at the end of the day, like we were talking about before we started recording, like some of the stuff is just like killing time. You're sitting on the toilet and this is when you're scrolling through, right? That's what memes, that's what corny videos are. That's what TikToks are. Like that's all that stuff. When I'm like actually looking to consume information to make my life better, I'm never going to Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, right? Like there are times when I want that kind of to just check in and see where things are at, see if there's anything interesting. But at the end of the day, I know there's the separation. I know, that there's a difference. But when I see that article, about ridiculousness, I'm a big fan of what Rob Dyrdek has done. Like I am like,
For sure.
I absolutely think that he's done amazing things But I think in terms of what he's kind of segmented to MTV, it sucks for MTV because what he's doing behind the scenes is what's really impressive about who he is as a person. And that's the stuff that should be elevated
For
to
sure.
the masses. But you can get that if you look at who Rob Dyrdek is, Dyrdek Enterprises, all the investments that he's made. But now, like, we're getting
Right.
to this point where people consume these things in completely separate silos, and the biggest silo is this like time suck of everything. I'm also 100% aware that like 2020 deserved to be in a time suck in itself. So like, go as far down that rabbit hole as you need to. If you need to make it
Mm-hmm.
24 hours a day of ridiculousness just to get us out of that mindset and get us out of the pandemic, so be it. But
Yeah.
like, I hope that people are aware of it, because I also look at like some of the people that are posting, in sports and in, kind of more entertainment world. And like, if you're a comedian, it's one thing, but like when you're a sports team and it's hard to find actual information on your team, that becomes a little bit frustrating as a fan, right? So then
Yeah.
now, like, you have the option to go, I don't know, you're either going to go to ESPN's website or you're going to go to the Athletic or wherever you choose to consume that information. But the ease of access to the good stuff seems to be even more harder to find, because all of the stuff that bubbles up to the top based on the algorithms is always some sort of,
Trash.
memeified GIF, whatever the
Yeah.
thing is that's trendy. And I think that's a really interesting direction for things. And I hope that people are paying attention, because if it's all about like, not to pick on you, Mike, because a lot of people did this,
Yeah.
but like so many people just like stepped outside and stepped in the snow and like took a picture of their shoes, and it was everywhere. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but like then what happens is like the big guys, the big accounts take it and they get like the next version of that, and they overdo it until it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you just
It's
ruined
like,
the fun
okay.
for everybody that actually got snow for the first time, right? It's like,
Yep.
so I have a lot of like thoughts around that based on, just my experience working for, bigger companies, but also just in like seeing the repetitiveness of everybody's feed right now. It's really interesting
Yeah.
to think about like, hey, if MTV's doing that on TV, people are doing it on big accounts on the internet. What's going to be what's going to be the end of that, right? Like, the nail in the coffin for Grantland, or the door opening for the Athletic, or whatever that looks like. Something will happen, and there's going to be a big shift, and there's going to be a lot of people that see that same drop off, and like, oh, I had 100 million followers on Instagram, but only 100,000 people or only 10,000 people even see my post now. And now
Yeah.
you've just
Well,
wasted 10, 12 years building up that account. You have nothing of value because you've got to post some guy creasing his toe box or something like that.
well, ESPN's even doing that now. I mean, you notice, look at the ESPN feed.
Yeah.
They're real like meme, GIF, whatever, short, crazy video, happy now. Bleacher Report. I mean, that was kind of their thing. They're kind of like the jokesters and whatever. You've seen like the, what Game of Zones and stuff, which I actually really enjoyed that little cartoon, by the way. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what their personality was, and that's how they're garnering so much attention.
Right.
But you're right, like Grantland, the Athletic, places who are really just
Ringer.
driven by the actual story and the people behind them are seeing that drop off because, like, well, I'm not going to do that. And even, I mean, sometimes with us, I think that because, yeah, we'll post repost something silly every so often. It's like, oh, look at this like stupid video of this person doing this, or like the crease in it. Cool. I mean, everyone's entitled to like make a joke or make it funny sometimes, but I feel like it's not funny for the 30th million times. Like, oh look, there's another meme. Like you have to mix in something real with something goofy, because I think that's a real personality. Like no one's goofy 24/7.
Yeah.
I don't think. So, it's crazy to me. That's the things that you get bubble up because people don't want to think, I guess. And maybe I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole, but I feel like people just they use this as a form of, or social media as a form of escapism when companies like us and other people try to like actually put news out. I mean, like put like, hey, here's real information, here's history, here's this, that, and the third, and it just is hard to fight up to the top of that when you just got, oh, I'm just gonna scroll. I'm on the toilet. Huh, that's a stupid video. I'm gonna repost it though. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way because I think as we were kind of stumbling around this conversation, I realized TV is not what it
No.
once was. Maybe the modern day equivalent for MTV for like that young 16 to 23 demographic is their phone because they can curate that far better than any sort of programming block could back in our
Yep.
day. So I understand that, but it is definitely an interesting conversation. Maybe it's one for one of our Patreon only
Man,
episodes.
they would enjoy
Yeah,
that.
I think the other thing that's really interesting about it too is that it's that's something that draws people into sports that aren't normally that way, right? Like if tennis went that direction, you'd have all sorts of people interested in the game of tennis again, which would sell tennis shoes, which would, like, I mean, let's see, I forget what time. I think we're missing it right now, but like the
I'm
Serena
watching it right
Williams.
now,
Yeah, so
right
I don't
here.
have a TV in here or anything that I can watch it on. But like that matchup, right? Like that's something that will bring
Yep.
people to tennis. But like
Hmm.
if they want the next generation, they have to play in that space. And I think that's really interesting, right? Like we've talked about Formula 1, Rohit, and I think Formula 1 has done an incredible job of balancing that like internet culture and like this is who we are, kind of the history of Formula 1, the stories behind the people. And partially I think their success comes from, like, at least in the States, you don't have people following massive accounts of Formula One content the way you do with like sneakers or basketball, right? Like sneakers and basketball for us,
Sure.
we see almost everything, right? Like, I mean, I think we follow all the major accounts, all the semi major accounts, all the minor accounts. Like collectively, I see, a complex, a nice kicks, soul collector post on 5 to 10 different accounts every single day. So
Hmm.
I'm also totally biased in the sense that like I'm in this so deep every day that I can't not see this multiple times because the algorithm.
Okay.
That's also why I get frustrated with Instagram and the algorithm, and I bring it up a lot because I literally see how it feeds me the same post every time, right? Like I switch to
Yeah.
log into a different account. Hey, this is the
Same
hot
thing.
post of the day, and the most unfortunate thing about that is like, you know, I would love for there to be, like some of your photography, Mike, like, just like there's so many people making great content around the sneaker world that just don't get elevated because the algorithms are just like, oh, well, this is the funny thing today. We're just going to continue to post this and we'll feed this to everybody that
Yeah.
logs in today. And I'll end that rant because I could continue on for a long time, but
A
it
whole
is just
episode, man. We
really
can do it.
interesting. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yep.
but
Yeah.
all right. So
No,
we got
I just think it's, yeah, go for it.
if you have something else,
No. Just usual butting in. Sorry
no,
about
it's all
that.
good, man. It's all good. Um, I do enough of that for all of us anyway. You guys should probably do more of it just to keep me in check. So want to go through. Well, I guess we should say we didn't get a review this week, so we need some help for the next episode because we got to have something to read. We got to,
Help
yeah,
us out, man. Come on. Y'all been
yeah,
doing so good.
I'll pull a KD. I'll
Burners.
get a burner iTunes account. Yeah.
yeah,
If we see a review from a guy named Mohit Malhotra, then you'll probably know who it
It's
is.
all right.
But hey, Apple doesn't know that.
yes, exactly.
Um,
Oh man, but yeah, if you have a moment, it would be dope if you left us a review. If you're on YouTube, just like leave a comment, smash the like button, subscribe, all those fun things. If you're really into the content that we're putting out, as we've already mentioned, Patreon and Discord, got quite a few people in there now having a good time at all times. It's by far my favorite part of the little community we built around the Sneaker History podcast. So definitely check it out. It's at patreon.com/sneaker history. But that said, I think we want to just jump into the releases. There's just a ton of Jordan releases. I actually pulled up this article on Sneaker News, which we'll link to in the description. But I originally pulled it up thinking there would be like maybe 10, 15 releases. And I realized that I
Sure.
haven't got to the bottom of it yet. I'm still scrolling. So we're just going to quickly run through some of these shoes and get some opinions from you guys. And we'll start off with that Air Jordan 1 Silver Toe that's dropping this week. What do you guys think?
I think it's probably one of my top 2 or 3 that on this list. Just 'cause I've always been a big fan of the Jordan 1 Shadow, which is one shoe I have not been able to own yet. And this would be a nice, nice consolation until the prices decide to just plummet on Jordan 1s.
Yeah, and I figure as a San Antonio Spurs fan, Mike, that also scratches that particular itch. But I'm gonna go with what Mike said. It's a great starter shoe. Less is more, and you can never go wrong with a beautifully executed black, white, and gray shoe. So.
Yep, I agree. I have a similar colorway, the Laylee May Jordan 1, so I would pass on this one. But I think the colorway is super dope. It won't be in my size
He
anyway.
Subtly says it though. By the way,
women's.
I just happen to Laylee made Jordan 1. Like, don't mind me, guys.
I mean,
bespoke with Italian leather, made with dolphin hair, and that's right, dolphins don't even have hair. But
smells of mahogany.
Nick effing Engvall, and that's what I do.
I mean, there's no real good way to drop that one in, because I was thinking, okay, well, I could talk about, I have this Jordan 1 colorway in a similar, and people are gonna think Laylee May anyway, so I gotta say it, right?
Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Have to keep up with the Joneses.
Okay, next up, the PSG Jordan 1 Zoom Comfort. So I'm just going to start that one off. I think this colorway is super, super dope. I wasn't expecting to like it the way I do, but it's like super simple. I love this, the bright hits. It's subtle enough. I don't know if their price is right. They're saying it's $140, but I mean...
Doesn't matter. It sold out immediately today.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it was today? No, that shows...
Sold out immediately.
Yep. Did you want to go after that one, Mike?
It's not the point if I wanted to go after it. I wanted the option to. I like options, Rohit, and I didn't have the option to say no to it.
That's fair. No, I'll say this. Maybe they knew something we didn't know, because PSG had a performance today where Kylian Mbappe scored 3 goals and was 3 goals. And apologies, I think it was yesterday, so I've already got my soccer credibility already shot. But I will say this: the hint of purple is just lovely, and it's giving me BioShock vibes, because I think I, like most of us, were told we were selected to go after those Jordans that were on sneakers, but unfortunately I just wasn't quick enough on the draw. And the only sneaker that I was really kicking myself over was that Biohack one, or whatever it was called. That it just, this seems like a extension of that particular attitude and that particular sentiment. So this is a beautiful shoe. If you got it, great. I'm happy for you.
Yep. All right, so next up, this one is already sold out on February 20th, the Jordan 3 Cool Gray. I think we can all agree it's a nice shoe. Love to have it, but we already took the L, basically.
Next. Dude, I love this shoe, but you're right. It's gone already. Like, it's not been released and it's already gone.
Let's do this. Let's all pick a shoe that we think won't sell out, and the winner will get a bag of M&Ms. Because I'm sure there's
one. Is there a Team Jordan that I didn't know about?
We'll find out soon enough, but I think we're going about this the wrong way. I'm sure there's one shoe that will not be sold out in 2 minutes. Maybe it'll last a whole 10 minutes before it's all sold out, but we'll see.
Man. Well, not the next one, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
this
one's good, man. Yeah, so Air Jordan 4 Taupe Haze, February 27th, retail supposedly $200. I saw it on the app, hit notify me, and instantly became sad. Just
are you like preemptively sad? Like, man, I should have done this. You invested yourself too much, Nick. Don't invest yourself into.
It's exactly that. Are you telling me the notify me is the new sold out button? Because
yeah, I mean, if it just, I mean, that's essentially what I experienced, right? I hit it and I just thought, well, this is dumb, because now I'm going to wake up and think that I have a chance, but it's better if I don't know, right? Like, I didn't feel any remorse around the Zoom Comforts until Mike said, that they sold out today already. It's like, oh, well, I missed it anyway.
Well, dude, so like, we're not gonna go into this tangent, but hitting the notify me, the little heart, tweeting it out. I did that. I went through that whole exercise when it came to like the LeBron stuff, and I was still handed my L. So I'm not investing my time anymore. If I can get in there and I can get it, cool. But I was more heartbroken. That was the hardest loss ever, especially with that between the LeBrons and the Grinches and me tweeting it every two hours. They still, nah, bro, your $200 ain't good enough for us. So I'm a cynic now. So that's what.
All right, let's see what's next on Schrodinger's sneakers list. If I don't have them, that means nobody else also has them. But then the minute I want them, I can't have them. That's Schrodinger's sneakers, right?
Literally how it works.
Yeah. So what's next? Oh, University Blue Jordan 1s. I mean, these are definitely worth the heartache of not getting them on March 6th. 170 retail. Basically like a perfect Carolina Jordan 1, right? I mean, so yeah.
This became very morbid and sad, by the way. Like
I know.
No. Here's the thing. This is what we're gonna do, right? So Adam Carolla, back before he was a racist, had a segment called "What Can't Adam Complain About." I'm gonna take that approach with this particular exercise. So I think the Nike Air on the tongue, I don't think it's the same exact shade of blue that the rest of the shoe has. So that's a pass for me. Go on, Nick.
Why do you hate this shoe? Well, I like it, Roy. You know what? I'm gonna make it ugly so I don't want it.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. So
Rohit Malhotra, been negging since 1987.
Oh man, yeah, it's unfortunate about Adam Carolla too, and another MTV gone wrong, I guess. But
R.I.P. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So next up is the Jordan 3 Georgetown. Man, this shoe is freaking gorgeous. I don't know if it's because I've been wearing the black cements, but
that's why.
I would love to have these. So I'm just gonna say, like, the optimist in me does not like, you know, the optimist in me is like, maybe by some chance the average sneaker consumer won't want it because the Jumpman's on the back, knowing that that's not really gonna happen. But I'm gonna try it anyway. I'm gonna see if I can get these ones March 20th.
Actually, if we had to pick one out of the few we looked at so far, I think may sit. I was thinking the same thing. I think you may have a better chance at this one because threes, just historical reference to the All-Star threes last year. Everybody, they're all red. Everyone's going to buy them. They sat for a while, and maybe not sneakers, but various other places. I think you may have a shot, Nick. This is definitely one I think back between 2011 and 2013, 14. I think these would have been on the shelves for $120. So fingers crossed for you. I hope you
Let's
get it.
hope so.
I mean, I think we are kind of living in this era right now where the Jordan 1 and possibly the Jordan 11 are king, and everything else might be had if you have enough good sneaker karma cashed in. I guess my question to the two of you is, if you were able to get a pair of any of the sneakers we've already previewed, and it seems that it's going to basically come down to this 3 and the previous 1, what would you rather have? Because I think I'm leaning more towards this particular 3, and not because I haven't seen the color on the tongue, because maybe I'll use that same absurd methodology to downgrade this shoe in my own eyes when I don't get it. But I think this is a clean, classy shoe that just, it almost transcends the coolness of the Jordan 3, which I think a lot of people still kind of count as their favorite Jordan.
Yeah, if I had to pick between a 1 and a 3, I love 1s, but this one I would have to go with, even though I'm not a big fan of navy blue. But the shape of it all, like Jordan 3 comfort compared to 1 is bar none. The shape going back to more the closest to OG shape with this 3. I would have to go with this one. I feel like it's more wearable overall.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with this one. I feel like you know, an Iverson jersey or something, and like, you know, 2001, you know, throwback jersey me. What was the I forget. I feel like there was a term that like the jersey collectors used back in like the early 2000s, but now I can't think of it. But this is definitely one of those shoes that,
But other than throwback?
yeah, there's some other thing. I can't think of it.
Wow. Okay.
But
now
I
I'm
have to
interested
know.
where you go with that.
well, I'll see if I can drum it up. But this is just one of those shoes that I think is easy to wear. I could wear it all the time. You know, to me, it's just like anything Georgetown and associated with Iverson and that era. The only thing that would make it cooler would be if there was like, you know, a little bit of that like kente cloth, you know, design that was on the side of
Inside,
the
yeah,
shorts. So yeah, like the liner or something. Yeah, something a
yeah.
little bit extra. But I think, you know, to I forget which of you said it, but like I guess like the simplistic nature of it too. This is like a very adult Jordan versus
Yeah.
like even the University Blue is like kind of a younger vibe in a sense. Even and especially like the taupe haze, like that's very much like a spin-off of a Travis Scott vibe. I think,
Yep.
you know, that to me is like, I don't know if I just am acknowledging that I'm old and washed and this is the old and washed Jordan 3 for me, but that's okay. I'm good with that. It's a
Nah,
beautiful
man.
shoe and I'd be happy to wear it.
No, 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 not at all. If I got my hand on a pair of those taupe fours, believe me, I'm wearing khakis with those just so I
Yeah,
can make every hypebeast head explode.
man. I'm in the same boat. Like I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, I'm just gonna wear my normal jeans or blue jeans or whatever. I'm not out there looking fresh. I am boring. Like, give me a t-shirt that's like from Target and whatever pants are washed. I'm good.
No, I was gonna say this. That's all about my Jake from State Farm energy, and I think the Topes might be able to do that. And if that's the case, I'm ready to blow hypebeast
Like,
minds, so to speak, with how washed
no.
I am. Anyway, what do we have next on the list, Nick?
Jordan 5 Stealth, basically, yeah, like essentially like the stealth that came out, whatever that was, 2006 or so.
Yeah.
White, little bit of gray on the midsole, and then the blue accents. I don't know. What do you guys think of this one?
I think this is the most boring Jordan 5 I've ever seen in my life. I just don't. I'm not a big 5 person, but I respect the 5 colorways. Uh, this is literally looks like to me one of like the grade school 5s you would see that they just pump out random time of the year. I don't like them.
Now, I don't want to say anything is boring because if I was ever asked to design a shoe, believe me, I think my output would be more in line with something like this. But it strikes me really interesting that they're going all in on the college flavors, so to speak, for March, and I get it. That's usually when the tournament is, but I don't know. I think it's a very simple shoe in all the wrong ways. So what we kind of celebrated about the previous Georgetown 3, I'm getting the complete opposite vibes of this from the 5. So I don't know. If this is a shoe for you, go for it. I hope somebody that wants it gets it, and this isn't another victim of the bots. But yeah, not for me.
Yeah, I think so. I think the 5 looks better in boring colorways,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, it's not for me. Like I don't know if it's, you know, I like the 5, but I just this one is just like almost too. I don't know if it's too simple or just what it is, because I actually like that color of blue too. I like the silver and blue, but yeah, just not for me.
Well, they could have done more
This
with the
next one,
blue.
what's up?
They could have done more with the blue. If you look at things like the Olympic pair that came out, what 2011, simple, but they just took some liberties with materials. Even Fire Red, they used more of the red. Like this is just such a minimal blue color. It's like I guess it's the anniversary ones that are white and silver. I'm not a fan of those either because the 5s are just too big of a shoe to be all white.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's I like the fire red 5s with the 23 on
Hmm.
the heel, which is an
Yeah, something
almost
extra.
all white shoe though, right? But like it's just
Yeah,
that
but
little hit of the 23.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, so how about this next one, the Jordan 4 University Blue?
a heartbreak waiting to happen. I've already have informed Robbie. I was like, if you're not going for these, sir, I need your assistance, and I'm gonna beg the Discord group, help me because I want to give my 220 whatever dollars to Jordan for these.
I will also give you my sneakers entry if
I
you
will
need it,
take it.
Mike. It's a cool shoe. It gives me that Houston Oiler vibe, and I know I give Mike a lot of crap because he is from Houston and clearly not a Spurs fan, but I want you to have this shoe because doesn't this remind us of a similar shoe that had come out that's also predominantly blue in terms of its blocking, but maybe there's a hint of a difference. Like I want to say this gives me that Travis Scott vibe, but maybe I'm completely off base there.
Crap.
No,
I didn't even think
definitely.
about that, so I'm not getting them. Dang it. No, not that I don't want them. Now we said it out loud, just like the
Right.
Taupe Haze 4, they give a Travis Scott vibe. Mocha 1s. People are like, ooh, I couldn't get those. I really, truly, my only thought was the UNC PEs, which I think these are to play on that. But now I didn't even think about the freaking Travis Scott. So, well, all right. We'll try.
I mean, the thing that I really actually...
Is it the same blue, though? Or?
Yeah. It was... So, Travis Scott's like blue, black, a little bit of red.
The Cactus Jack.
Red, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the like cement kind of mix up with this one is interesting. I don't know if... I think it could be better without the cement. But I actually really like the idea of like... It looks like it's a type of suede, right? So, I mean...
Yeah.
That to me is really interesting just on this colorway. I don't know. I could go either way on this one. Like I like it. I don't know if I'd like it if I got it in person and was like looking at it. You know, it's like I could probably talk myself out of it.
There's one complaint though. The tongue tag is different. It is not the normal flight tongue tag. It is a, you know, like they had the Michigans and the I guess the Oregons that had like the whatever the tag said on the back. I think it says it on the toe box, or I'm sorry, on the tongue tag. It looks a little weird, but that's my one complaint about it. So if I didn't get it, I'd be like, oh, okay. But I really do like the overall shoe. If I could just maybe replace the tongue tag with, you know, a flight one from down the road somewhere.
That'd be cool. So next up is a Jordan 5 Raging Bull. This is basically the red suede pair retro, right?
I'll go ahead and speak.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to say this. We were talking about how the previous 5 we previewed looked too simple. This is splash in your face and probably the best part of what makes a 5 a 5. And I like the shoe. I'll try for it, but I won't be disappointed if I don't get it.
Same. I remember seeing these in the
that's about how
outlet
I
while I was
feel
in
too.
college. Sitting there at the cash register. I had not enough money to buy them because I was definitely a poor college student. But I mean, they're nice. I probably wouldn't wear them, but if I got them, just like Rohit, it'd be nice to have them. But I won't be mad if someone who really wants them actually scooped them up.
So next up, Air Jordan 1 Hyper Royal, April 17th, 170.
Sold out.
Yeah.
It's a nice one, though. I mean, it reminds me of that Turbo Green. I think a lot of people have said that. The Turbo Green from, 2018? Just this was more of the more University Blue. So, good-looking shoe. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's a 1. I'm not going to get my hands on it, even if I want to. So.
I actually like this one quite a bit. I actually think of more of the... It's not the same, but like the color of this blue looks like... For some reason, it reminds me of the like women's Jordan 1 low that came out in like 2007 or 8. That was like a denim. Kind of a similar color blocking. My brother ended up getting a pair. But it was just like a good looking shoe. I think, yeah, this is like, I don't even want to think about it anymore because I'm not going to get it. So let's move on to something else that I won't get, but I would love to have. The Jordan 11 Legend Blue lows, supposedly dropping in April.
I think you might have a chance. This is another one. I think you might have a chance.
I'm with Mike on this. I think it's an 11, but I don't know. I feel that, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but the lows don't have the same, I guess, hype around them the same way that the mids or the original pairs do. And I see the low pairs tend to hang out a little bit more on that outlet if they even make it that far. So I'm just speaking from both sides of my mouth at this point, but I'm hoping for you, Nick, and if need be, I gave Mike a raffle ticket to the shoe of his choice. I'll give you my
I
raffle
got you
ticket
as
to
well.
this.
Right on. Thanks. I mean, I do agree. There's a possibility that it'll be a little bit easier to attain just because it is a low. But I also think that I think there's going to be some interesting timings in regards to. So I'll wrap this into the next one, the bright citrus lows, right? April, May is going to be, there's going to be a lot of optimism in the air for people that have gotten vaccinated. Springtime, Mike's no longer stuck in a snowstorm. We're all going to be thinking happier thoughts. And I think that means that a lot of people are going to be like, I could rock some fresh white Jordan 11 lows and not, yeah, that's how I feel about it. So.
No, and the other interesting thing about the citrus pair is it's a women's colorway, so I'm assuming there won't be a male equivalent.
It's
Is
not
that fair?
saying women's only on this one. I think this might be for everybody because originally, yeah, it was just for women.
So I think it'll be a women's.
No,
I think it'll be a women's release, but potentially have extended sizes. But I'm not 100% sure. Don't
perfect.
quote me on that. I could change this, that, and the other by the time that comes around in May. So.
Oh no, it does say women's. I'm sorry, I scrolled down a little further. It does say women's. So, what you need, like a size 20, Nick? Like,
Yeah.
Now, Mike, when Deshaun Watson comes back to the Texans, get the missus a pair of these to celebrate. How about that? That's that optimism we're going for in the spring.
She don't like the Texans. She don't like the. She's a Cowboys and Spurs fan. So there's a. We're fighting for the collective team soul of our children. We're like, which one are you gonna like?
Wow, that's got to be
fantastic.
That's got to be a challenge in the Guillory household. I'm visualizing the pulling kids' arms just going back and forth between the teams.
It's easy when all our teams suck right now, so we're like, whatever. Now when one of us are good, it's like
you're going through the sportsmanship phase of your teams, right? This is when you teach your kids about the joys of sportsmanship.
And you shake hands when you get beat. Now when we're good again, we're like, we stomp into the ground. We don't look back at them.
You step on throats, you cut necks,
do what you have to do.
That's the Houston way.
You know how we roll, Roy. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely. I may or may not have gotten kicked out of an SEC game once because I was yelling at the refs because he had a big F on his the back of his referee uniform. And I was just like, F is for failure, brother. And I was asked to leave an Alabama football game. And here I thought, you know what? That's a first because I'm a meek boy from Missouri.
That's an achievement.
I can prove to the SEC that I can be.
That's a big achievement,
so there we go.
Sir.
But I'll use that to talk about another one of my passions, which is outside of berating referees at amateur games, professional wrestling. So I was kind of looking at the next shoe, the Air Jordan 7 Flint, and I remember something that Mr. Unloved Ones was talking to us about, where whenever he looks at a shoe, he tries to come up with the pop culture connotation of a colorway. So looking at the Air Jordan 7 Flint, I can't help but think of The Undertaker, and I'm talking about The Undertaker from like the mid-90s, because it's black, it's white, it's gray, but it's got that hint of purple that used to be the same color as its gloves. So as he's choke slamming somebody, you can see that Donatello purple, which is another reference that lets me know that I'm about that life.
I like it. I'm not a big 7 guy either, but I like that one. But I like two 7s. This one and the Raptors. Oh, that, call it quits.
Yeah, this is one that I regret not getting when it came out the first time. So I'll give it a shot. We'll see. I don't know if I'll put a whole lot of effort into it just because I don't know. I don't know that I would wear it. Yeah, well, that's the thing.
When did it?
Yeah.
When did it come out previously, Nick?
This is probably like a 2004, 2005. Let me look real quick.
Okay.
2006. Yeah. It was one of those shoes that just like I think kind of flew under the radar back then too. Like I mean, a bunch of people liked it, but I think I remember it being on sale here in Sacramento. So,
I remember kids wearing it in school, like in high school.
Yeah, I could see people, sleeping on it as well, right? It's the one thing that I really like about it is like the contrasting panels on the 7 to me. It's the same as the 6, right? Like it's that first time that I saw, contrasting panels on the 7. I think like you saw it with like we talked about the Carmines, right? Like that to me was like just a cool thing that it's just an overrated or an underrated element for some of these shoes. And I think now we've seen it so many times that it's not, anything special, but to me it still kind of invokes those memories.
Yeah, dude. Oh, hold up. I got a news update. Serena just got washed in straight sets.
Oh, snap. Yeah, I
No,
just had
That
it
was
too.
so quick. She just got
An
washed
hour
in
and
straight
15 minutes.
sets.
Wow.
That was the quick. I didn't see that coming.
Did she blank her on any
Nah,
of the
she didn't
sets?
No,
blank it.
six
No,
three,
no
6-4.
donuts.
Yeah. Wow. Naomi's
See
going to
that
be a
coming.
beast for years to come. She's
Dude, she's good, man.
something else, yeah. I really would love to
I
see
like her.
Serena
She's got
win.
a
Yeah, I wanted her to win
She
the
need
Australian
one more.
this year,
I
but
just want
yeah.
one more, and she can.
I think she's going to do Wimbledon because I think, as revolutionary of a player as she is, Wimbledon still kind of has that country club atmosphere and ambiance that I always associate with tennis, whether that's a right statement or a wrong statement to make. And I think she's just going to save her game for Wimbledon because it still seems to be the premier event in the tennis world. But I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Because you guys tend to know a little bit more about the tennis than I do.
I think that would probably be a nice one for her to win. It's either going to be that or the U.S. Open. I mean, just to win in New York, to finally get that record. I see it.
On home soil.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Wimbledon because Wimbledon is actually probably, I feel like the less stressful on your body because of the grass, the softness of the court, but you're not getting that crazy bounce like you get the French Open on the clay. So I wouldn't be surprised if she actually pulled out at Wimbledon or U.S. Open. So home or I think the easier court to play on.
I mean, I think we should just talk about this for a second because we had a little conversation about the GOAT on Instagram today, right? And
Yeah.
like obviously in the sneaker world, people want to talk about Michael Jordan as the GOAT, but Serena Williams is like the GOAT. Like, I don't think you can even like compare the amount of success with other athletes.
21,
like she's
21 major titles?
Yeah, like and that's even like spread out over like multiple like I don't if you're a tennis fan, right? You know that Rafa is like clay court god. But like and Federer struggles on the clay, right? Mm-hmm. So Serena is like I think she has like 7 in Australia, 6 or 7 Wimbledons, 3 or 4 French on the clay, and then a handful of U.S. Opens. It is mind-blowing to think like someone could win literally every aspect of the sport at the highest level of the sport. Like,
so you want to hear this stat? This is crazy. She has 7 Australian Opens, 4 French Open. I'm sorry, 3 French Opens. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Wimbledons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 U.S. Opens.
Yeah, 23 titles. It's bananas.
Insanity.
No, it was funny because as you were kind of pontificating there, Nick, I looked up Serena Williams' trophy case, and that tennis journalism, I'm not too familiar with it, so I didn't know what the tennis equivalent of, let's say, Slam Magazine is, but Golf Digest is the #1 hit when you ask how many trophies does Serena Williams have, and she has 23, like Mike had kind of broken down, and it possibly frustrated me because I was at the tail end of Tom Brady's most recent win, but Tom Brady does not get GOAT status the same way that we give it to Serena, Jordan, Tiger, Federer, just because of the fact that we have to make the clear distinction of an individual GOAT and a team GOAT because he has a specialized set of skills that benefits from having complementary players around him. Serena, for the most part, has done this on her own, and I know she might have been, or she probably is, as prolific of a doubles player Yeah, it's saying she's won 14 Grand Slam double titles with her sister and 2 other Grand Slam mixed double titles. So there is a precedence there that she can work as a part of a team, but her specialty is that individuality, which is what makes her so renowned and makes her the embodiment of this particular era of tennis. But yeah, I'm not trying to hear anything about Tom Brady. I think Jordan has that case, but even that number is dwindling because Brian Scalabrine is clearly going to come out of retirement
Lace
and
him
get
up,
another title.
Scalabrine. Dude, she has 4 gold medals. She has 1 in singles
Yeah, I
and
was
3 in
just gonna
doubles.
say.
You have she has. Well, I'm counting doubles because I played tennis for over 10 years of my life. Doubles is just as this a whole different game than singles. It's just as hard in a different way. You have like almost 40 just Grand Slam titles. You have 4 gold medals. Who's touching that? No one. I don't care who you are. And you've done a team sport. You've done a single sport. There's the argument shouldn't even be had. I mean, I don't care who I made upset. I don't care if you love Michael Jordan. I think he's great too. But guess what? He ain't Serena.
I mean, not to mention, like, I believe she was pregnant when she won the Australian Open in 2017.
Yes!
She's back playing at the same. I mean, yes, she lost today, but she's back playing at like an incredible level already. Like
39 years old.
Yeah, I mean, just my God, like it's just unbelievable how, like, just goat. Like I don't know, like it's just. Anyway, okay, let's get back now that we had a little tennis break. I guess we should shout out the OG support group, Sneaker Preservation Society, Soul to Soul, all the guys that are constantly posting the sneaker photos of their old tennis shoes. By the way, we're gonna get some of those guys on the podcast here pretty soon. I'm in the works. Got that in the works,
fellas.
But so back to the Jordan releases. We're finally getting the Air Jordan 1 Shadow 2.0. What do you guys think of this one?
I will request all entries for those who are not, because the Shadow has eluded me every time it's released. I will take a 2.0. I am not ashamed to say it. That is all.
All right. Nick, would you also want an entry to this? Because I just tend to alternate between my friends whenever they need an entry.
Who wants?
I'm gonna pass on this one. So the only Shadow Jordan 1 that I actually really want is a pair that I had before that was the 2009 release. The 2009 release had like a really nice suede and a really good leather on it. And they're just like every pair that I've seen since, like the variations, the different, with the leather, it's just not for me. So I can toss my entry into the pot in the Discord for whoever's looking for this, Mike.
There you go. I'm gonna like try to get all of them. Like, come on, guys, I just need one.
No, get him now, Mike.
Gotta beat Robbie to it. Robbie's gonna start asking tomorrow. Like, dang it!
No, that's what I'm saying. Robbie is.
He's the master.
He has a set of very specific skills that's known to get him his objective. And I know that's not the exact monologue I'm taking, but when it comes to sneaker requests, Robbie is lean around, and it's just one of those things. He doesn't, and that's what I love and respect about him. If I hadn't seen the very first shoe that we talked about, I would probably be more all in on this one, but I think I'm okay. And it's also a 1, so I'm resigned not to get it. So.
The next one's kind of an interesting one just because it's a little mix-up alternate of the Jordan 4 white cement. Obviously, we haven't seen real photos of it yet, so who knows if it's actually going to turn out to look this way. But the way that Sneaker News has it off of Z Sneakerhead's photo shop is kind of, I guess, half white cement with like black accents on the upper and a black liner. Whatever. I'm not sold on these ones.
Something's telling me this whole shoe's gonna be gray. I mean, clearly this is just a mock-up, but something's telling me this whole shoe's gonna be like gray. And I mean, if that's the case, I might be interested. But this one, no, I don't want this one.
Yeah. Going off the mock-up, it's a no for me. But I'll also have that opportunity to say if the actual shoe looks different, I reserve the right to change my opinion. But no for me.
Next up, we got the Jordan 1, the metallic court purple, June 3rd.
2016, these would have set
Game.
around, but nope. Gonna watch these go away. I mean, this is one of the things I have to kind of pick and choose what I want, and I would rather go after the Shadow 2.0s as opposed to getting these. But if I can't get those Shadows, I'll go for these. It's just one of those kind of how it works.
Yeah. I'm going to be eating a fresh stack of pancakes and trying to purify myself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka while I try to help out anybody that wants these, because I got a very Dave Chappelle True Hollywood Story Prince vibe from them. So there you go.
These ones are definitely I'm going to go after. I don't know if there's any chance that I will actually get a pair, but I always love the metallic Jordan 1s. You know, they haven't really released too many of the original colorways. I think the navies are probably the closest ones that I've really been interested in. This colorway and then like the orange colorway. I forget which shade of orange it is, but yeah, I'll go for these. I'm not optimistic that I'll actually end up with them. I'm not very optimistic toward Jordan 1s. I just kind of look at Jordan 1s. It's like, oh, it's a cool picture to see on the internet. They don't exist in real life, so.
That's how I feel, man.
So next up, Fusion Red Jordan 1.
Yeah, get it right though. This is a high OG, so this is gonna be the one that's probably more money. It says 170, but I think all the high OGs are 190. I'm not paying 190 for a Jordan 1, by the way. This is way too much. 170 is pushing it, and I don't really care so much for the high OG compared to the OG or whatever you want to call it. Colorway, cool, like the neutral grays. I wanted those, but it wasn't happening. I don't care for this colorway, and I don't care for the hype of coming up to the high OG.
So
I'll pass it over to you.
Well, so Jordan 1 and the high OG, the mid, all that conversation around the cut of a shoe to me is just like neither here nor there. Yeah. Like the process in which all of that stuff happened, right? Like if you look at East Bay catalogs from 94, the people that determined whether that shoe was a mid or a high were probably just copywriters that looked at the shoe and were like, oh, that's Jordan 1 mid. They had no concept of the Jordan 1 high is, you know, in some weird little subculture more important than a one that's labeled mid. And I think that is really kind of fascinating because, like, there have been times in my life where certain colorways I absolutely want. The Nike Air on the heel of a Black Cement 3, the Nike Air on the tongue of a Jordan 1. But, like, that's not always the case. Like, it's not a make it or break it thing for me. This colorway, I'm not really interested in at all. It's not an attractive colorway to me on the Jordan 1. But I think the interesting thing is, like, the Court Purples not having the OG high label on them, even though it's clearly a high OG Nike Air on the tongue and it's an original colorway, you know, to me that just seems like an obvious choice.
Missed opportunity, man.
Regardless of whether it says, you know, OG high or high OG. I think that's just a really interesting talking point. We should probably just do a whole episode on it because there's plenty of people that have crazy strong opinions on it and could tell you the differences between them. But at the end of the day, like, I look at them now and just think, look, if I'm going to buy a pair of Jordan 1s, I'm going to wear it. It doesn't really matter. The quality of them matters to me. And typically the Jordan 1 with the high OG gets the best materials. So I lean towards those if I can. But if the colorway is dope, like, the colorway is dope. I don't care if there's a Jumpman on the tongue or a Nike Air on the tongue. It's not a make or break thing for me. I know Robbie, when he listens to this episode, is just going to be, you know, tearing his eyes out because he's like, you can't be saying this without me on the episode. Because he's one of the people that absolutely wants the Nike Air and the OG high cut and all of that stuff. So I totally understand, you know, to some extent why people want that, and, you know, more power to you. But it's really interesting when, like, we're looking at this on Sneaker News and there's no distinguishing points around the Court Purple, but there is on this one. And I think, like, the Shadow 2.0 is the same thing, which I'm pretty sure that Shadow 2.0 photo, at least, is actually a mid. But we won't get into that on this episode. We'll wait for another one. But so let's move on to the next interesting colorway. I don't know if this is actually, if I haven't seen any actual release information on this, but Travis Scott Air Jordan 6 in this British khaki. I mean, I like the original Travis Scott 6, but I don't think I'll have a chance at getting these, so no point getting my hopes up. What do you guys think?
I just don't want to have my feet wearing cargo shorts. I don't understand the pockets on the side. I hate them. But I will gladly give you my entry if you want it, Nick.
I'll give you my entry only if you give me the fanny pack on the side if and when you get these.
I need to borrow your fanny pack.
Yeah. Like, if I ever want to make a stop action movie, I'm gonna do a 1/8 rendition of my actual height. This will be the fanny pack that I will be wearing instead. Yeah, I mean it's a Travis Scott thing, so that kind of just lets us know it's not for us. And more power to anybody that wants a sneaker. I hope you guys get it. And this also seems to be a rendering based on the insignia on the side, so maybe we don't get the fanny pack at all.
A lot of rendering. Oh.
Yeah, we're getting into a lot of renderings. We'll go a few more, and then we'll cut it off, and we'll throw this to everybody that's listening. But like the Jordan 1 High Paisley, I think we talked about before. I'm really into this colorway. I would love to get a couple of these. Have one of them switch to purple, just because that's
you
what I
already
thought
got
it was originally.
on deck.
Yeah, but I love the blue too. So hopefully I can grab. I can. This is super wishful thinking, but it would be nice to get a couple of pairs of these and have one of them customized.
I actually would like it. I don't have a problem with it. I think it'd be really dope if they used a canvas or almost like a thick bandana material on the back. I think that would make it so much cooler if that was the case. But I won't ever get one in my hand because it's a Jordan 1 unless I trip and fall and stumble on the win button. But I think it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. Win is a win, so if you get it, awesome. I'm hoping it's a bandana because it would truly separate this shoe from any other Jordan 1, and I think it would justify the hype because we are kind of living in that era right now. Any sort of Jordan 1 will get an unusual amount of hype, and more often than not, it's not warranted. But in this case, if they do the bandana, go for it. I think it's worth all the accolade and the acclaim that it would get.
How about the Air Jordan 13 Gym Red? This is kind of a reverse on the gray toe, right? Or I guess like a...
it's the red flint, they call it.
Yeah, red flint. Yeah, that's a better way to describe it.
If I'm not mistaken, I think this is it resembles one I could be wrong. This may not be the one, and I'll be corrected, I'm sure. But the Kevin Martin PE he had when he played with the Rockets, I think is very similar to that one. I think it maybe a different shade of red and maybe some different accents here or there are different that aren't the same. But I think it's one of those that really resemble that to a degree. I like it. I mean, I would cop.
I'm trying to find that Kevin Martin, and it looks suspiciously a lot like that one, but everything I've kind of seen says that this is a good shoe. I'll probably try for this one.
Yeah, I think this colorway looks great. I mean, the 13 I've kind of grown away from over the years, but it also reminds me. I don't think Jason Kidd wore this. I think he wore the actual what's the other version? That I already said, the
gray toe.
The gray toe. I think he had like a PE of the gray toe, but this kind of reminds me of like his Nets era, which is pretty dope. The PEs that he wore back then. So I don't know. Like I could see going for this one. Although this would be one of the shoes that I could see not selling out too. What do you guys think?
I hope not. That would be fantastic.
So why have you grown apart from the 13, if you don't mind me asking, Nick?
So when you wear the 13 and you look straight down on the shoe, it looks funny to me now.
Really?
Like I don't know why. Like I know Gary Freehand Prophet would agree with me, but maybe we're the only two people in the world that have this feeling. But it's one of those things that just like through the years kind of like, I don't know, like the right colors still look good, but like not enough for me to feel like, oh, I gotta get that and wear that, right? Which is funny because like when the 13 came out originally, I had, I mean, I bought probably 4 or 5 pairs. Like I was, making good money at that time, and I was like, okay, time to like go hard into this. I had like the chutneys and the altitudes, the white and black, he got game, whatever. Yeah, so. All right, what else we got here? We've got, so we got the Change the World Jordan 9s. I'm waiting for the rest of the story on this one.
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen the full story on it. I think there's more to it that I hope will explain the colorway a little better.
yeah, I think they're actually a nice looking nine. I won't buy them because you guys know my feeling on nines, but it's cool.
No, I'm always a fan of mismatched shoes, but I also share Mike's sentiment that nines are not necessarily for me. So as always, my pass is available to anybody on the Patreon that
Same.
wants it.
Yeah, likewise. Jordan 13 reverse bread.
I'm just vigorously shaking my head. No,
Yeah, that's a no. That's a no for me.
That's a no for me. I, something about it just this screams 2009 fake. I don't know why, but it just does to me. Something just looks off about the shoe. I can't describe it. It's not pleasing to the eyes.
No, not at all. And I like the 13s usually, but this is one of the first pairs where it just if you're looking at this as a snapshot and somebody asks you, "Hey, is this an authentic pair?" There is some innate quality that tells me this is not what I would expect a 13 to
Yeah,
look like, but maybe it looks better in person, but in the one photo that we're working off of, it just feels a little cheap.
there it is. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna throw two more at you because we're getting into a lot of mock-ups, and
Yeah.
I think the speculation is one of the things that I'm not really interested in. But um, obviously, the Jordan 1 KO Chicago has been talked about for quite a while.
hmm
What do you guys think? Are you is that a cop or a pass?
I like the KO. The last retro, I had I guess the sport blue pair that looked like the Royals. Um, I just don't like the fact there's no ventilation in that shoe and it's so hot. So I will not be buying another one of those because on a typical day in Houston, I wouldn't need my shoes to be warm, and I don't need those.
I don't like the KO model for whatever reason, so I'm always going to pass on those, but it's a decent shoe. I love the colorway, so it has that working for it.
All right, so I also pass on the KO, but I also lied because there's two shoes that I want to ask you about, even though I said there was two shoes
It's all
previously.
right.
The next up is the Jordan 1 Smoke
Dirty
Gray,
dog.
which I think Kenneth posted on his account recently. Um, kind of like I don't know, something about the shoe is really interesting to me. I
So I
don't know
think
what it is.
this is actually his mock-up too. They used.
Yeah,
Um, I I don't. This one's not for me either. I don't know what it is. I think it's just maybe the super contrast of the potential white stitching on the dark colors. I don't like as much. I like more of a clean, seamless look. So I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
I like the white stitching. I also like the smoke gray. Duh, smoke gray one. I'll go for it. I'm not going to get it, but I will go for it.
yeah. And we're referencing Kenneth, Mr. Unloved Ones, on Instagram and Twitter. He's been on the show with us. If you want to hear, he gave us some great takes towards the end of last year around the
Sure.
Jordan 1 releases. But okay, the last one is the Air Jordan 3 Racer Blue, supposedly July 10th, $190.
You're not getting this
Well,
one, Nick. Yeah, the reason I'm saying that is because I will destroy his name. So I'm going to say the owner of Fragment
Hiroshi
had a.
Fujiwara.
Yes, thank you. I hate destroying people's names, and I don't want people to mess my name up. So when he had the picture of the potential Fragment 3, his sample, it looked just like this. This is a mock-up we're looking at, but I wouldn't be surprised if it looked like this. It's gone immediately because people are like, oh, Hiroshi wore these. I'm like, he didn't, but you're close, I guess.
What do you think, Rohit?
You may not get the sneak. You may not get the sneaker, Nick, but I'll give you my pass. And I think that's a fair trade-off. But no, it's a 3. I like it. I don't. However, I tend not to like 3s that are predominantly white for whatever reason, but it's okay. And the blue, and granted, this is all a mock-up, and we'll all look like jackasses afterwards when we see the actual product, and it looks nothing like the mock-up, but this mock-up isn't necessarily doing anything for me, so I'll pass. But I'll give you my pass. So there
All
you
right,
go.
I appreciate that. I'm definitely into this shoe. Yeah, the fragment pair that came out was disappointing to me compared to this colorway that seems to be similar to that original sample. But also, if you are interested in more about Fragment, Hiroshi Fujiwara, the kind of the best of the best that have come from his collaborations with Nike, I'll link to in the description. I wrote a pretty lengthy article about how many collabs they've done with Nike. It's always interesting to see the way Nike kind of does this, right? Like we test the waters with a sample as a collab, and then, as Mike said, going to sell this out just because people think it's similar to that shoe. So
how it goes, man. Savage.
So that's yeah. So that's where we're at with upcoming Jordan releases. That gets us through into the beginning, early days of summer. I'm pretty excited about a lot of those releases, though. Honestly, I feel like compared to last year, there are way more shoes that I'm interested in this year. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It might just mean more disappointments, but hey, it's sunny. It's the Sunny Sneaker History Podcast. We're going to be optimistic about it. And I'm just going to take a page from Rohit's book. And, all of these are W's coming to me. I'm going to dream of Gotham screens just popping up at me tonight. So
you're going to wake up. Why is my credit card bill so high? What happened? I get too many things in my sleep.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. But, as we've said in this episode, if you are a member of the Patreon Discord, we're always helping each other out in there. So it's a good way to kind of help each other cop the stuff that, we're not normally going to get, because potentially have another 10, 20, 30 people entering for you. It's a nice chance, nice way to up your chances, I guess. Yeah. So definitely consider supporting. That's about it for me. You can follow me at Nick Engvall on all the platforms. Guys, let them know how they can follow you.
Yeah, find me on Instagram and Twitter at MadWatcher789 and on YouTube at Mike Guillory. Rohit, tell them where you at, buddy.
I'm at RohitM13 on Instagram and at Roheezy on Twitter. And thank you for listening to us pontificate about sneakers that, if we're lucky, maybe we get a quarter of them, but we'll see.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate all of you, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
See ya.
See you guys.